Okay, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Onchain Media podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Onchain. Today, we have an incredible guest joining us, you guys. We have Wesley Ellul here, who I met at Bitcoin Vegas. Let me tell you, you guys, he has been cooking on some incredible things, multiple projects, working at the intersection of film, entertainment, and the on-chain space. And if you guys know who have been in my network following me, that's something that I've been interested in throughout my on-chain career. Without further ado, I'm so excited, Wesley, to have you on today. And yeah, I'll pass it over to you for an intro.
Well, thank you very much, Rachel, and it's an absolute pleasure. You would think the second person I actually met at this year's Bitcoin Vegas.
I think you were the first that I met.
And I just walked in. I can't remember. I just met Melina, girl in the verse, who's a longtime friend of mine. She introduced us, and I just loved your energy. And we got to do like a little snippet right there and then of this. But it was a sort of a precursor to what we're going to be chatting about today. But absolute pleasure. I love what you're doing with Onchain Media. Again, the whole vision of bringing truth to this crypto space in a world where too many people are being paid a little bit too much money to shill things that they don't believe in. It's great to see a breath of fresh air of someone who's actually looking for the good of the industry as a whole.
That means so much, Wesley. I want to bring it back also to when we met at Bitcoin Vegas. So this was my first Bitcoin conference, you guys, by the way. I've never been before. But my girl Melina, girl in the verse, we had a call. She got me excited about it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go. Who should I connect with? So I see her there. She pointed to Wesley. She said, you absolutely have to connect with him. He was the first person that I connected with and the first person she recommended. So I'm going to try to find our photos from this. Wow, I can't believe this was already like April, last month now. What is going on?
Yep.
I don't know where the time's going.
Oh, it flies. In fact, right, like as we're recording this, I am getting a little bit of FOMO about not being at Consensus right now.
Yeah.
I'm still included in all these little chat groups. And there we are. Luckily, I'm not wearing the same shirt.
We're not in Miami, you guys. For everyone that keeps asking, I'm so sorry.
The whole what's it called? Miami Consensus is always a great show, and it going down to Miami, I think, was a great idea. People seem to be having a lot of fun. And unfortunately, we haven't been having a lot of good news in general in the crypto space over the last couple of days, right? I think it was Coinbase yesterday.
Coinbase layoffs yesterday.
Like 14%, which is quite significant. But I don't think that has anything to do with crypto. I don't think that has to do with this bear market. I think that's more of a general sign of the times where we are, where AI is taking us.
It's kind of a convergence of multiple different things simultaneously. And you guys, I actually wrote a post about this. Yeah, I just wrote a post yesterday about just kind of how this hit me. You know, like I actually knew a good deal of the people who have been laid off. So just people I've worked with over the years. If you guys, follow along with what I'm doing, Base and Coinbase have really been my home and the ecosystem that I've built in. This is people, relationships, and years of work all shifting at once. But it's also a signal of where the times are headed. Like we are in the age of AI. Job displacement is happening now. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen the post from Brian Armstrong, yeah, he shared the email he wrote to everybody.
Yeah, and good on Brian Armstrong. He was very upfront about it, on what he was doing. To be fair, what he did, he was following what Jack Dorsey did a couple of weeks ago, when Jack Dorsey laid off a huge amount of, I think it was Square's staff.
And didn't their stock shoot up?
Yeah, of course their stock shot up. All of a sudden you have, in a lot of these companies, the majority of your cost is human capital. And
right.
As soon as you remove that and you have AI, which is outperforming, well, that's going to tend to happen. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but as an entrepreneur, that's your job, especially if you do have shareholders, your job is to get the best return for your shareholders. Now, what are we going to see down the line? We're going to see more and more of these happen. The key now is how can you stay resilient in this era? How can you as an individual stay resilient in this area? And number one is, first of all, you need to learn AI. You need to learn how to use this tool to make you 20 times more efficient than you were yesterday. We're building this company here at Technotainment, which is a mixture of a technology company, but then we're also a production company, right? We're going to be producing a whole bunch of content in collaboration with partners. We're utilizing AI every single day. Like how we build our business plans, what used to take me, and I'm not joking, like up to a week to do, we're
You could
doing
do it in
in
minutes
hours
now, or
Yeah,
hours.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying hours because after we do the initial, we go through the fine tooth comb, throw in more ideas, clean it up, start running numbers, and all of a sudden the entire process is much cleaner. And the whole thing, our CFO has been doing this. And what was it last week? So last week I was revising some things. We're putting together a package because we're just about to go on this investment run for the content side of our business. And I put together like our entire sort of like run rate for the next 24 months or something like this. I gave him these financial numbers, and I said, okay, Richard, do you think one, these numbers are good? Do they make sense? And secondly, can we defend them? And I expected to be ripped apart. But he was like, actually, no, those numbers are really, really good. And sometimes, though, like they do, if you do not have like financial expertise, you won't know whether the numbers are good or not. You won't know if there's like a mistake in the thinking or something along the way. Because again, AI will do what you tell it to do. It won't always, like, for example, if you tell it to give you a budget for Onchain Media for the next 12 months, or the last 12 months, right? Say, hey, I want a budget for the last 12 months. This was our number of staff. This was this was that, this was the other. This is what we were earning. And I want you to create an imaginary profit and loss on it. If you actually tell it to do that and compare it to what you spent, you'll probably see a huge discrepancy because it's taking sort of like generalized numbers. It's taking stuff out of the air. So it might not be exactly on target, but sometimes it might come lower, sometimes it might come higher. You just need to know how realistic it is when it comes down to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, so something I wrote in this post, just kind of acknowledging the Coinbase layoffs was, so more than ever, I'll just read what I wrote here. It feels important for all of us to stay adaptable, to keep learning and find ways to integrate AI into our skill sets, into our career skill sets and our businesses. Like, I feel like the companies and the people that do this are going to just go leaps and bounds further. And we talked about one of the benchmarks of success, right? It's going from ideation to execution and reducing that time gap as much as possible. AI enables you to move at lightning speed now. So I just feel like if you're not using it, if you're not learning it, it is a disservice to yourself, right? Yeah, I think every
100%.
business. I saw a post, I think from Cody Sanchez. She wrote, "If your founder isn't literally obsessed with AI, get the fuck out." So I think as founders, as business owners, like it's something like I'm having late nights with Claude, just like trying to figure out how do we make things operate more efficiently. So yeah, it is something I think every day there's new news, there's new things to learn. And something I'd recommend is getting credentials, right? Like doing some of the things that Claude, Anthropic, OpenAI, like they actually offer courses and credentials.
I have never been, so while I went to university, I have a degree in communication. I've never been a proponent of structured learning.
Okay, let's talk about it.
And only
Experiential
because
learning.
it's experiential learning. You learn by doing, and that's the best way. So like in communications, I remember they gave me a whole bunch of theory, but while I was at university, I decided to take jobs at the national television station in Malta and at a radio station in Malta, and I was learning how to actually work and do the actual work that was involved in it, which led me to find work. I mean, okay, I was a DJ, but it led me to find work much easier.
Wait, we have a DJ into Web3. Are we got to talk about that. We'll circle back.
We'll circle back to my story, but the thing is, the experiential work led me to be much more employable after, except for the fact I never really had a job besides being a DJ. Everything else in my life, I actually made my own sort of work, but I knew I was much more employable than anybody else because I knew how to use equipment. I learned how to use this stuff. I messed up. And what happens is sometimes we get out of university with all the head knowledge, but without the practical knowledge, and we go forward. So the key is, I would actually say, try to do it and go online, and there are tutorials if you need to or get stuck. But Claude in it and ChatGPT in itself is its own tutorial maker. I remember
True.
about a year ago, one of the companies I own back in Europe is a web development company. And our lead engineer was off on vacation for a week or so. And we had this massive security update which happened, which took down a whole bunch of websites. And I know the basics of server operations, but I didn't know it very well. And I'm like, okay, I have to fix this. I can't call this guy because he's in the mountains somewhere. What am I going to do? And back then I just took the problem from the screen. I took the screenshot, threw it into ChatGPT, and it started walking me through how to fix this as I went. Within about an hour and a half, I solved it. This whole issue was solved, and I didn't need a DevOps. It would have normally cost me something like $1,000 to $2,000 to do this, and I had all the information there and in my hands. So just try. The worst case scenario, the only thing I would say is just don't try on a live system, right? On something that's going out to public. But if you're building something, trying something, just get those skills up to scratch now. Learn how to do it, and then look to tutorials to do it better. Because if you focus on a degree or a certificate, it's
a theoretical. It's less getting your hands dirty. It's just learning the theory, but not like getting your hands dirty and learning through experience. I've actually found that in business. Like, I was like, should I go to business school? Should I get my MBA? I had a mentor who told me, Rachel, just go out and do it. Like, it's funny because I went to school for art. And then I was like, should I go to school for business? I ended up getting into entrepreneurship. You don't have to go to business school to be an entrepreneur.
And all of those things are going to go away. I personally believe within 10 years, most kids won't be going to university.
It's true. My little brother just graduated and he's like, I don't see the point in getting into like all this debt. Like, I'm just going to, just dive straight into what I want to do. Like, I think that's going to be the new mindset.
And I'm just as a note, this is not me giving out bad information. This is what I tell my children. I have 4 girls, and my 4 girls, I literally tell them, like, university, if you want to do it, all well and good. But I'm telling you, you don't have to do that. Focus on being creative. Focus on learning how to tell stories. If you want to be a painter, if you want to go into sports, those are the things that are going to create wealth in the next economy, the new AI economy which comes out.
I'm curious, Wesley, while we're on the topic here, what jobs and industries do you feel like are going to be the most susceptible to the AI transition we're in?
Okay, so Anthropic, I think, came out with a report about 6 to 8 weeks ago, and they basically just had like this big circle of where things are going to be hit. Hospitality for now is quite safe. Robotics will come in, but hospitality industry is quite safe. Plumbing, like the electricity, any of these manual labor jobs, which are quite intricate in the handwork, are quite safe for a very long time. Is that the one? They have a little circular graph on it. But they, like, even healthcare, they say something like about 70% of the job. That's the one. There you are.
Yeah, zoom in on this so you guys can see.
This was very, very, very clear of the area. So now those little red areas there, those are the jobs that are already being affected. So that is the percentage to which the jobs are being affected. As time goes on, that is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. In fact,
look at that office and admin, the white collar
they're
jobs.
Gone. They are gone. What you know what's going to be left in office and admin? People at the office to greet people when it comes down to that work. Because why do I need a bookkeeper? As long as my an invoice is hitting my email, my AI agent will then take that, throw that into the account, file it, put it in the perfect place, and my account that bit of the accounting is done. My annual report, my audit is going to be done. It might need just one auditor to go over the numbers very quickly, but we don't have to do these deep dives anymore because AI is doing most of this stuff. And again, I see solutions like this every day. If you take a look at the legal field shows almost, 85% of jobs in the legal field are going to disappear.
That's interesting because historically, like, you think doctor and lawyer, those are like safe bets for you to have a successful career. So that's changing.
Yeah, well, so this is where this is affecting is the knowledge-based industries, because what AI can do is it can replicate knowledge-based decisions. It's very hard with creativity, right? So in the creative space, I remember a lot of writers saying, oh my God, this is going to be the end of Hollywood cinema. And musicians were like, oh, it's going to be able to create the music. And yeah, it is to an extent. But it's also going to be a tool for the person who doesn't know how to create music. Start with a little beat. He'll say, I want to go boom, chicka, boom, chicka. And then he'll say, I want the horns to go like this, da 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 da, and all of a sudden the AI will help him create those sort of things. So what it's going to do is it's going to take a lower barrier to entry to get into these places. That's where the creativity will come from the individuals, and might not need, they won't have the skills of how to use Ableton or all these very complicated things. I think creativity is safe. Storytellers are hugely safe. In fact, it was the World Economic Forum who came out with a report about 2 years ago, and when it like listed the top like 20 jobs, the first three were like highly sophisticated jobs like AI engineer, quantum engineer, or something else engineer. The fourth one was a creative thinker. That a creative thinker is still going to be needed. Funnily enough, the seventh most important job in that new economy was going to be is talent management,
Wow.
because we are actually going to see more talent, more creativity, more content being created than ever before. And let's be very honest, artists aren't the greatest when it comes down to running business.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there shouldn't be, because business requires rules and all sorts of different things, following strict guidelines. Creatives are creatives. They think outside the box. They run wild and they create beautiful things that we would have never come up with. I'm somewhere in between those two worlds, but in fact, I never get my accounts done on time. Right? That's why I need a great team behind me. But yeah, it's the knowledge based services. Healthcare. If you take a look at healthcare in that list over there,
Yeah, let's check it out.
healthcare is highly hit as well.
Wow.
When
So like
it comes to,
nurses, like what
so
things?
nurses are cool, right? Nurses are going to be cool because that's primary sort of care. We will have robots doing a lot of the stuff, but people will want that human touch.
Yeah.
But we will have, I would say, a lot of our GP stuff, like our general practitioner stuff. I don't know. I have a cold. We're literally going to speak to our AI, say, "Hey, I have a cold. I have this, that, the other," and it's going to shoot out a prescription for us. It's going to, because it's going to do exactly what a doctor can do, because a doctor just takes a look at our basics, our basic symptoms, and
Symptoms and based on medical knowledge. Yeah.
that's it. Can you? I mean, I can imagine very shortly we'll have, like, even in our home. You know how we have the thermometers for like for babies and things like that, and for ourselves at home. We're probably going to have a tool like that will check our ears when we have a cold. It'll take a look inside, send it to the AI. The AI will say, "Okay, look, you have a sore throat, or you have this, or you have the other. This is what you need to take." It'll send the prescription to the pharmacy, and that will be delivered to your door right there and then, with proof of what you have.
And I think also wearables too. I think we're going to be seeing a big surge in the wearables and
Hmm.
in wellness and biohacking. Yes. I do think that's going to be, I mean, right now, I mean, look at Brian Johnson. I mean, all the things
Hmm.
he's doing at biohacking. I think we're going to see a huge surge in that industry as well.
Yeah, those are going to be. I mean, there is already huge surge in that. Every billionaire or like 100 millionaire I know, that's where their focus is right now. They're focusing on going into the red light therapy. They're focusing on doing anything they can to live their life. In fact, another report, it was like 2 weeks ago, said, by if you manage to live to 2030,
Hmm.
you will live till you're 150.
Wow.
Right?
That's crazy.
And that's not a long way away. We're now talking 3.5 years, right? Because the sort of I think it's the healthcare, as the healthcare industry is working, it's elongating our lives now longer than the technology takes to implement. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at
That's
lives to
crazy.
150. So we also need to create a world which is enjoyable to live in till we're 150. And these are things we also have to start thinking about. I mean, what we're doing at Technotainment is that we're trying to create a world full of entertainment where people can enjoy it, but enjoy it and participate in it and engage in it in a different way that they did before.
Yeah, I definitely want to dive in and talk more about it. I'm going to pull up the website here for Technotainment. I'm going to let you go into all this, Wesley, because there's so
Okay.
much here. It's exciting.
So Technotainment ultimately is the seed of this brainchild came from a man named Niall Henson. Niall Henson was a legend in the cable industry. So he started way back in the 70s, like with a cable company, and very early on he was brought into this interactive television project, which launched in 1978, called Cube. QUBE. It was the world's first interactive television. You could literally engage with television from your home, like years and years ago. So that's Niall there. So Niall has built things like, initially he had Cube, which was a failure, and then from that,
MTV.
He built country music. Well, first Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon was his first one. In fact, he went to Disney first to say, hey, there's something in this children's television thing. You should do it. And they said no. So he went out to do it. And then from there, after that was a success, they said, okay, what you got next? And he formulated with Michael Nesmith from the Monkees the idea of 3-minute movies to music, or as we know them now, music videos. He then he was then part of the team hiring the first guys who run MTV, so Bob Pittman and the others, and that became MTV. All of a sudden, he went off to create pay-per-view television. In fact, Ted Turner, who actually passed away today, the cable mogul, he created CNN, he created MGM Classic Movies, Turner Movies, etc. He called Nile the Edison of pay-per-view. They were sort of mutual mentors to each other. Like they were crazy, they were wild, they would think completely outside the box. Any time someone told him to do something, he would go and do the opposite because he thought he knew a better way, and he usually does. From there, he went and opened country music television when everybody said country music won't be a thing. And the rest is sort of history. He took a lot of time off over the years, but he always believed there was going to be a change in the entertainment industry, and he started seeing that more and more in the 2010s. He started working on a project called Streamers in the 2010s, but he never launched it because then he heard of a thing called blockchain.
Okay. All right, let's talk about it.
And when he heard about blockchain, he said, wait, this blockchain thing needs to be part of it. And he didn't exactly know how. It was around that time, I met him around 22, because he was looking into it, and he was just trying to figure out where does blockchain fit into this, because he knew it needed to be part of it. And I met him at Consensus, actually, in Austin in 22.
Great. I know some of the people on here. I'm actually an advisor to World Mobile. I'm a media advisor to Mickey Watkins. Wendy O has been on my show too. Definitely seeing some familiar names here. It's such a small world in crypto.
Oh, for sure. That was when we hosted the Web3 Influencer Awards last year in Vegas. Yeah, I think we'll probably be doing something again this year during Rare Evo as well over here in Vegas again.
Well, I have to make my way out there, man. That sounds awesome.
For sure. But yeah, so basically we met, and he saw that I've been in the entertainment industry. He saw that I also had been in the tech industry and in the at the time blockchain Web3 industry. And he was like, "You understand all this stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So he asked me to come back to Vegas for 7 days. We got to know each other very well. And from there, I was sort of like just consulting with him at first. And then he was like, I need you to come into this. And I've been working on it now for 4 years with him. And now we are ready to go. So we, together and through a lot of development of ideas, etc., we realized where the big change needs to come. It needs to be about bringing the content, the community, and the commerce together on one platform, but also giving creators like yourself, like a new film creator, like a musician, the autonomy that they have their own mini streaming service. A streaming service where nobody can take them down, nobody can stop them. They're not facing an algorithm, but rather they're facing whether they're good or not, right? If you have quality, people are gonna flock to you. And what we've done is we've built this blockchain layer underneath all these mini streaming services to allow people to go from what we call microcast site to microcast site. And like that, people can move through them easily. And we created an affiliate layer to also incentivize people to promote great content. So we essentially changing the way distribution works in the entertainment space. And that's our ultimate goal, that we want to empower creators, give their voice back to them, give their revenues back to them, and also not put them in a place where they can ever be censored. Because that is what freedom of speech is ultimately. When it comes down to the team, this is sort of what makes us a little bit different, because there has been a number of different projects that have tried to integrate Hollywood and whatnot in there. And what's always happened, it's been sort of like a couple of a Web3 team who has brought one person in from Hollywood, one person who knows the industry. And what you find in entertainment and every circle of entertainment, and this is everything from like Hollywood to the music industry to even the adult industry, they are very tight circles, and people don't let people in that easily, right? And it's not because they want to gatekeep, it's trust. Because if you don't trust, the trust factor in Hollywood is everything, because when they're giving out money, when they're doing distribution, they have to trust that this person isn't going to run away with the money. Because let's just say you're doing a film, I give you money in advance to get a film out in 12 months time, 16 months time, and if you don't actually perform on that, that money is run away. It's very much like crypto to an extent, but crypto's at least on chain. So what happened here is Niall assembled a team of huge people from the entertainment industry. So, I mean, we have Eddie Wenrick there, who was the one of the creators of a company called AEG. It initially was called Can West Touring, which then became AEG. He was then head of Epic and Columbia Records. We have John Dotson, who was the head of CBS Nashville. So, like, these are huge names in the music industry. Simone Solomon, our chief legal officer and head of business affairs, she was the head of legal for Tidal, Jay-Z's company. She was also at Disney. She was also at Audible. Then you take a look at people like Bruce, our CTO. He's a Cisco veteran. Mallory, our COO, was at FX and NBC. And this is just part of our team, by the way. Our
That's
team is
incredible.
45 people of industry experts. In fact, the only two there's three Web3 people we have there is myself, Darren Franceschini, who's been a Web3 OG and who's heading our strategy on that, and then Nick Days, who's doing some of our events. In fact, there's someone who's not mentioned over there on this page, who should be, is Jerry Wanda. So Jerry was one of the Fugees. He then created Platinum Studios in New York. And he's like the producer behind Hips Don't Lie, and I don't know how many hundred. I mean, this guy has a list of artists behind him that is insane, and he's going to be our head of music development. We also have on the other side Emmy Award winner Doug Stanley. He was the producer of Deadliest Catch and so many other amazing documentary series. I mean, I could go on and on with the list of people that we have working with us. And this is what makes it different. It is not Web3 coming to Hollywood, but it's Hollywood bringing in Web3, because we understand the new future economy of how this is going to work has to work different, and the Web3 rails have to be there. It's going to look Web2 in all way, shape, or form, but Web3 is going to be underlying everything.
So Wesley, going through everyone on your team, not just from the Web3 space, from entertainment, from film, from Hollywood, from tech, you have Cisco, just a convergence of so many talented individuals. I'm just excited for you. I mean, I'm like kind of surprised. I'm like just discovering you guys. Like, we definitely have been like in the same sphere of reality. Like, it's kind of wild.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I think one of the reasons why you haven't heard a lot from me is because I did a lot of the work I was doing, especially in the Web3 space, in Europe. So I was based in Malta for the last 31 years. Little island in the middle of the Mediterranean. I got into crypto as Malta was being announced as the blockchain island. I mean, at that point, I had already built like 16 different businesses.
So you're a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah, again, I build businesses to solve problems, usually my own problems. So in some cases, they were like a recruitment platform. I remember I wanted to hire someone for my web development company at the time. Gone in, we designed the advert, we went to the newspaper, paid the $1,700 to have like, a 2 or 3 column full page advert. And for coming out on a Sunday, that's where everybody looked for jobs. And I got like 4 replies back. And I'm like, oh my God, all that money gone to waste. And I'm like, what can we do? And I had already built like a small mailing list for, what was it? I had opened an events website, what'son.com.mt, a Malta events website. And I had a mailing list, which I used to send out to people every week. And I said, you know what? Let me just send my job application, like my job
to your mailing list.
People.
Brilliant.
And I just got hundreds and hundreds of people applying. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. This works. This is interesting. Let me see it. And then within 48 hours, I built a new website called Keep Me Posted, which was a recruitment platform, which turned the whole concept of job hunting on its head. You just give us your email address, you tell us which industry you want to work in, and then we send you the jobs. And yeah, it was an over. I sold that off a couple of years ago. It was one of the ones I exited. But
nice.
But yeah, it was. I had run that for 4 or 5 years. Realized I hate recruitment, but
I'm curious, Wesley, what do you love to do? What is your why? And like, what drives you? What have you aligned with that like really feels like your true passion?
My true passion. Well, at 18, I went to Bible college.
Okay, we got a series: Bible college, DJ, Malta, Hollywood,
Yeah.
recruitment. Give a very. I need to do a series here on the story of Wesley.
I'm gonna give you a really quick. So, 18, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I said I had deep faith, and I said, okay, let me go to Bible college. So I got a full scholarship. I got a bunch of scholarships in the U.S., but none of them were full rides. But I got a full scholarship from the European Bible Institute, so I went over there, spent a year in Paris studying theology. I should have been like a 3-year course, but Paris was very different at the time. I wasn't happy in Paris, so I gave up my scholarship and I left. I just followed my instinct, like my happiness was everything. And I didn't know this at the time, like my belief is always follow your happiness today. But at the time, I was just not happy and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm giving it up. So I gave up the scholarship, went back to Malta, didn't know what I was going to do. It was just about to hit summer and my friend was DJing and I was like, yeah, I can do that. So he needed someone to fill in at a nightclub and I started DJing at a nightclub. That led to radio DJing.
What genre?
Back then the club I was DJing in was a singles club. So this is this is 98. So it was a singles club. So everybody was like 35, 40 plus. On a Mediterranean island. So it was a mixture of 80s tracks, early 90s and 70s tracks, right? This was a very difficult place to DJ because if they did not like the song you chose, they cleared the dance floor. I mean, there was no, it's you either have to read the room or you're messed up. So it was a great training ground. From there, I ended up being a commercial DJ. So I used to do more commercial clubs. I was the guy who was the floor filler. So work a lot of the mic, but I would get people in from 8 p.m. till midnight. And I did that full time for about 5 years while I went back to university and studied communications. And then I had an afternoon job as a radio DJ host. I used to do a drive time show. And yeah, I was doing that until I was about 25 years old. Well, plus I was also an actor. So
I was going to say, so I just Googled your name. Oh my God. Wait, do you sleep, man? How much sleep have you got over the past couple decades? This man's an actor. He's a DJ. What do you not do? Serial entrepreneur with multiple exits. I mean, wow. Yeah. Just really inspiring story. It kind of shows you guys you can really do anything with your life. You do not have to box yourself into one thing. That's so inspirational.
I think the joy of it was I lived on a little island where funnily enough, people say in little places there's not a lot of opportunity. And I do know a lot of my friends who came from Canada. I was born in Toronto originally. They came from Canada. They saw Malta and they saw, there's nothing happening here. There's not this, that, the other. I just sought for the opportunity it provided. It allowed me to do so many different things. There was a short period where I was writing columns for the national newspaper. There was, I was an actor in a bunch of Hollywood films. I was also behind the scenes on films. Like I worked on, Munich? I worked on Munich with Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, I see Munich, Helen of Troy. I mean, you have
Helen
some
of
big
Troy, I was
credits.
on screen. I worked as an actor for Michael Bay. I got quite a vast experience in things. What I did spend a lot of my time doing was theater. I was big into theater, so I would do musicals initially. That's because I love singing. And that led me to going to dance lessons. So I did ballet and jazz and ended up in the national performance of the Nutcracker as the Rat King. And it was just like, I would try anything. It was like, why not? Let's try it. What's the worst that can happen? I mean, the ballet thing was more to get girls at the time. You're a guy by yourself in a room full of girls. And then I sort of just kept in that sort of acting, DJing, and doing all that for a couple of years. But at the age of 25, I realized I'm not building a scalable business. If I want to take a month off, I'm not being paid. There's no money coming in.
You are the business at that point.
That's it. You are the business. In 2005, I built an online business directory, and that just led to a whole cascade of different things. But the whole thing is just like trust your gut, try shit.
Yes, I love that. Honestly, I was just talking to you about this before we started our pod today. Like I really love media and storytelling, creating. I feel like that's always been at the heart of what I do. I found myself starting multiple businesses. Like I've been in business development and I find there is an art to that as well. And I really love people. So I think that's what it comes like a good BD. You just you authentically build relationships with others. And I've always loved that. So anyway, with Onchain Media, I feel like that's really helped with building a community, having the business background, building the sales, the pipeline. And that stuff's exciting to me. I love that stuff. But I also love the creativity. And what I tell people often is that you have to mix the business with your creativity. You have to put the creativity in your business. Can't have one without the other. So yeah, we've touched on this briefly earlier with management, right? Like a lot of creators now, talent management is going to be a big vertical. So anyway, I do really want to touch on an award that Wesley is up for, you guys. This is something I'm really excited for you about, man. You have you have a lot of just accolades and things you've accomplished in your career that are very impressive. And now, you guys, he is up for the Entrepreneur of Impact. So he's a quarterfinalist right now, currently in second. So yeah, do you want to tell us about this award and what this all means?
So someone nominated me for this Entrepreneur of Impact Award, and it's a competition being run by Entrepreneur magazine. Basically, what they want to do is they want to find an entrepreneur who's impacting something in the world. And someone put me up for this. It could be one of the creators who we're working with. But basically, they said, hey, you really want to change the future of creators, will be they filmmakers, musicians, comedians, UGC creators, etc. I really think the work that you're going to do is going to impact so many people's lives. I'd like to put you there. And it's like, okay, let's go for it. And this competition's been running for almost a month now. Like I think I'm 7 or 8 rounds in. When this started, there was over 50,000 people in the competition. And we're now in the quarterfinals. So there's about 512 people left in this. We're organized into groups at the moment. So there's, I think there's 64 groups. I'm second in my group at the moment. But this will essentially lead to two things. One, it will lead to feature an Entrepreneur magazine. And the second thing is we have the Entrepreneur magazine thing, but then we also get a $25,000 cash prize. Now, I'm not saying we don't need money because, yes, we're building a company, we're doing a fundraise, we're doing all this stuff. So theoretically, we could use that. But instead, what I decided to do is I said, every penny that comes from this, we're going to give back and put into a creator fund, which we will start now, not after we fundraise, etc. Because we do want to bring the creators, because we think the creators are the future of how media is going to be, their ownership, their talent, them supporting what we're doing. So we're going to be taking every dollar that comes out of this and then giving it back to creators who want to do great things in the new creator economy over here. And this is where Technotainment lies in between, because we're going to give them the network and the platform and the tools for them to grow their businesses, be autonomous, and own their own audience. And we just want them to be part of that. So yeah, we're pitching $25,000 to all the creators, and this will happen after we win.
Yeah, this is huge, you guys.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. So yeah, if you could vote, if you can go on there and vote, basically you can vote every day for free. The only caveat is you have to have a Facebook account. So I know most of Gen Z will not have one of those.
We just lost everyone on crypto Twitter.
Yeah, everybody on crypto Twitter is like not there.
We just lost them all.
But you have to have a Facebook account to vote. But if you can leave a vote, that'd be great. It's a great shout for us, and we again hope to do a lot of good. Whether or not we win this, we're still going ahead, and we're still going to be doing great things for creators. But this will just speed up the process so that we can give some money to creators now, so that they can start working alongside us.
Let's go. Well, Wesley, I'm so honored that you joined the show today and came and shared your story. And you guys, I will be dropping this link in the description. So if you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening to the podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, you will see the link in the description to vote. And we're gonna rush this one out, you guys, because I would really love to see Wesley win this. I think he's one of the only Web3 people in this competition.
Yeah, so I had my Claude bot go through everything. We are literally the only Web3 project in this entire competition left. There were some initially when it first launched, but we're the only Web3 project left in there. And yeah, if you guys are in Web3 and want to support a Web3 entrepreneur being in Entrepreneur magazine, that would also be great, because again, for us, it's more credibility when it comes down to it, because a lot of the times people see us as scammers, right? They see us as people who just want to take money and keep it in an ecosystem. They call it Ponzi scheme. They call it whatever. Mm-hmm. We're the, again, the true guys who have worked in Web3. It's not about that. It's about changing the way the economy works, allowing everybody to participate, not just the people who hold the big bags. So that's our goal, and we hope that you guys can join us in it.
Let's go. All right, you guys, links will be in the description. Follow Technotainment, get tapped in, vote for Wesley. What you're working on is very important for our industry, for the on-chain space, and for ownership for creators. So anyway, very excited. Yeah, I don't know if you want to take us out. You said you love to sing. I don't know. I don't want to put you on the spot.
Oh my
but
God.
You lived in Paris. You love to sing. Do you know a little?
No, I a little French song. No, I don't know. Besides, like Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous, samalamati. I unfortunately my French isn't the greatest, but yeah, but singing was my passion back in the day. But you know, do you know what you asked me? What's my jam?
Mm-hmm.
My jam is actually making people happy in any way I can, and that's either by bringing efficiency in their life through tech, or directing a show which will make people laugh, or singing, or just having these conversations. I just want to bring good forward, and that's always been my ethos. And
well, you were doing it, man.
That's what we have to do, and that's what you're doing as well, because that's the other thing. It's all about positive energy. You give out to the world what you want to get back, and trust me, you get it back 10 times over, and you're doing an amazing job, Rachel.
Thank you, Wesley. All right, you guys, tap in with Wesley. Don't forget to vote. We'll see you on the next episode.